So apparently, in a recent episode, I guess you could say of Tell Your Tale, because it wasn't Make Your Mark Chapter 4 or anything. No, no, no. It's just the Tell Your Tale YouTube channel series. Apparently, there is an episode where I guess Pip got sick or something. I have to go back and watch it, and Hitch is taking care of her. And there is a moment in there with a kind of like nuzzling, like they're nuzzling, their heads together as kind of affection and everything. And because of this, now a lot of folks are wondering, are we going to get a Hitch and Pipp shipping? Is this a hint of things to come in Chapter 4 and in future tales, future episodes of Tell Your Tale, and maybe even the comics? And I don't know. I don't know. I mean, we've seen this in G4 a lot. Heck, we've seen it with the girls doing it to themselves, nuzzling heads together. We've seen Shining Armor do it with his sister and all that. So it's nothing really new. It's just a very affectionate sign of friendship and how close the friendship is. But nowadays, you got people that look at something like this, and Hitch being the only guy in the group, as a sign of, hey, he might end up with, one of the girls. Now, some eyes would look at the fact that he could have ended up with Sunny, which would have been natural. Some would say he should end up with Zip. Some have even said Izzy might be a good, foil for him. But one thing that really reminded me of Pip being a possibility is if you go back and you watch the Bronies React video to New Generation movie, or to the New Generation movie, when Hitch walks into Pip's concert in disguise, and he looks at her like for the first time when she's singing, Silverquill basically says that he feels that the shipping is strong with these two, or something like that. And when you see something like this in a recent episode of Tell Your Tale, it kind of does I would say, hint that maybe that, they might go that direction, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see. But you know what this did remind me of? And ironically, I was watching a lot of content based on it, just out of curiosity and everything. Watching a video where I talked about it, watching an unlisted video or PMV that Camelot did called Looking for a Cowgirl. I think it's Camelot 086, correct me if I'm wrong, or 836, one of them. She did the Looking for a Cowgirl PMV of Applejack and Spike. And of course, we know that the biggest supporter behind that is Disney Fanatic. But the reason it got me thinking about this is because, one, again, a lot of people look at Zip and Hitch and Sunny and Hitch as having more chemistry, like this is more naturally fit. Kind of like how a lot of fans looked at Spike and Rarity, and despite how people felt, some people felt about it, they just felt like, hey, this is a natural fit. Like this is a relationship, this is a romance, a ship, if you will, that could work. And when it came to Spike being with anybody else, yeah, they kind of teased it. Fans would look at the possibilities, but, it was always mainly Rarity and Spike. Never once did they ever really contemplate Spike with somebody else, even when they brought in other characters to associate with him, like Ember and Smolder, both female dragons, or Gabby the Griffin. Every time it went back to Rarity. But surprisingly, Spike, and heck, even at that BronyCon, where I think it was Kathy Westluck, the person that does Spike's voice, she even teased the fact that, hey, it may not be Rarity, it might be Applejack. And you would wonder, okay, why would she even tease that? Well, one, she's doing it out of fun, but also throw people off a little bit. Like, okay, what if Applejack's the one he would be with? Just saying. But what I'm getting at is when I saw the Hitch and Pipp deal and people talking about that, it got me thinking, that basically we had a very similar situation I wouldn't say it's very similar, but a similar, identical kind of situation with Applejack and Spike, because Applejack and Spike, that ship just really took off like after the episode Spike at Your Service. So, who's to say that fans won't try to get the same thing taken off for these two? Or maybe those that are working on the show that were fans themselves won't say, hey, let's throw in little hints, every now and then with all of G5's content and see what happens. That might be something that occurs, but again, as strange as it sounds, it reminded me of that because over time, we would see a little bit more Spike and Applejack hints in the show. We'd see them a little bit in the comics, but mostly in the show. I mean, heck, going back to Best Gift Ever, Spike eventually, from a Secret Santa heart-swimming helper situation, eventually he ended up with Rarity. He ended up with Rarity after trading in a very dragon-like way with Fluttershy. But be that as it may, who did Applejack end up with? She ended up with Spike. And you will wonder, okay, that's kind of interesting. The staff gives Applejack Spike. Spike eventually ends up with Rarity, and coincidentally, Rarity got Applejack. You see, that, as I mentioned before, is a prime example of the staff, even in the later seasons of Friendship is Magic, understanding and hearing and listening to the fans, and what they have to say, hearing and listening to their theories and reasonings. They did that for that exact reason. And ever since then, from Spike at Your Service and these little hints and moments here and there, it's like, come on, seriously. It's like, come on, seriously. Are you not strongly hinting at these two having something more than a friendship? Or what? That's how they felt. I mean, even at the very beginning, some fans would say it was there. Like at the end of Ticketmaster and everything. People would say it was right there too. And look, as I've said before, everybody has a right to ship who they want with who. That's not a big deal. But when I look at Pip and Hitch, it does remind me a lot of the whole Applejack and Spike deal and how that got started. Because all we know, Hitch, nuzzling with Pip to help her feel better and everything by bringing her soup and all that, look, that's just, like I said, an affectionate, very affectionate way of showing friendship. Just like, Spike and Applejack became closer friends. The point being, that kick-started, more so than Ticketmaster and other moments before it, that's what helped kickstart the shipping of Apple Spike as it's known. So could we have something similar with Hitch and Pip? Even like I said earlier, when you brought in the other characters of Amber, Smolder, Gabby, it all went back to Rarity. Why? Because that was established. That's what fans got used to from the very, very onset. And for Pip and Hitch, we'll have to see. Because the one fans were more associated with from the onset with G5 is Hitch and Sunny. And we could see that in the movie. We see that in Tell Your Tale, and we see that in Make Your Mark. And in Winter Wrap-Up, we see it. We see it. But again, we'll just have to see what occurs. Like I mentioned, there are some fans working on G5, so they might decide, hey, we're going to actually try to make this happen this time around. But we'll see. But yeah, strangely as it sounds, it does remind me of how the Applejack Spike shipping began. It did. And that ship still goes on today. It, like I've mentioned before, is the second most popular ship in MLP outside of Rarity and Spike. And I know a lot of people know that. But what do you guys think? Do you think the whole Hitch and Pipp thing, based on what happened in a recent episode of Tell Your Tale, is going to lead to something? Do you think the staff that were fans themselves are going to try to make something? Or do you think it's going to end up in the same category as the Applejack Spike deal, thanks to fans like Disney Fanatics? It's something the fans want to see, and then over time, the staff themselves will acknowledge in their own unique way. What are your thoughts? Let me know down below in the comments, as well as in the live chat during the premiere. Like the video, and until next time, guys, I will talk to you all later. Excuse me there, but yeah, give me your thoughts, and I am out.